You're invited to Australia's only fitness and recreation industry technology summit in Sydney on July the 21st and 22nd. This amazing summit is going to have 4 keynote presentations, 3 TED Talk style presentations, 2 panels, 2 workshops, plus there's a gala dinner with the first ever industry awards for technology and another keynote from the inspiring Amanda Stevens called High Tech, High Touch. You can register now at fitnessindustrytechsummit.com.au. Now, to add to your Fitness and Recreation Technology Summit experience, we have conducted free pre-event webinars. You can see all of these at fitnessindustrytechsummit.com.au. We had Dr. Ted Vickery on using technology in our industry, Jonathan Weiner on using technology for marketing, Annette Franz on using technology for retention, Marcus Kearns and the power of gamification to get people moving. And just a reminder that we are the only event that has an exclusive COVID guarantee. Should any COVID restrictions stop you from attending, you shall receive a 100% refund, or you can transfer your registration to 2022. So on to today's webinar, and I know it's going to knock your socks off. Why? Because so much of what you're going to hear today is new. It's new to the fitness industry. New thoughts on building loyalty in your business, and we have Australia's leading expert in loyalty. Welcome, Adam.
Hey, JT, thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure, sir. Now, people won't know who you are, so let me do an introduction of you, sir. Adam Posner is the CEO and founder and is a loyalty, rewards, and retention program specialist. He's been a data-driven marketer for over 27 years. He started when he was just 3 years old. Adam has designed and deployed customer loyalty, reward, and membership program strategies and member research for organizations operating in a diverse sectors. These include retail, hospitality, hotels, holiday parks, financial services, shopping centers, leisure and entertainment, trade, and education. He's the author of one of Australia's only practical books on loyalty programs, Give Back to Get Back, 9 Steps to a Profitable Loyalty Program. Since 2013, he has commissioned and is the author of 11 in-depth Australian customer loyalty and loyalty programs. And those research studies are called For Love or Money, which have featured in the media, where Adam has provided numerous interviews and insights on loyalty programs. OMG, we have an expert in the room.
Oh, no, that's very humbling. Thanks so much, JT. And yeah, well, it's all there in black and white, but great to share some insights with you and your audience.
Mate, I want to start by asking you about the elephant in the room. I want to start by asking, what is loyalty? Then what is a loyalty program? Because I'm loyal to Qantas. I have my Qantas Club membership, and I have all the benefits that go with my status. And in fact, I will probably never, ever leave Qantas because I don't want to lose my status. So does that make me a loyal customer? I don't know. You tell us.
That is actually a great little intro and a great insight. And I'll just ask you a question before I give you a point of view. And that is, what is it about the status, do you think, that actually keeps you connected to that program?
Oh, that's easy. Number one is I don't have to check in where everybody else checks in.
Okay.
Number 2 is I get access to the Qantas Club.
Yep.
And number 3, it makes me feel like I'm
special.
Yes. That's what I was thinking.
That's the power of these, especially that program. I mean, you know, that program is over 13 million members. In fact, the Qantas point is Australia's second currency.
Wow.
And 13 million members, just think about, there's only a population of about 20 million adults. So in Australia, that is. So it's a massive, massive program. with huge benefit to them. And for people like you who like what I would call, it's the ego that, working with the ego, which is a critical psychological element of programs. The convenience, you spoke about ease. In the first answer, you talked about, I like that easy, that element, that recognition, that ego. And so there's a lot of factors to these status-driven tiered programs that make their members feel special. And then, therefore, when you're booking a flight, who do you think of number one all the time? So you have the behavior and you have the belief. And therein lies the definition of loyalty. So loyalty, from what I've been studying exactly, and this is loyalty that's not a program. So loyalty to a brand or business is an outcome. We want loyal customers or members in a gym or whatever you want to call them members. You want people to behave in a way that we want. Now, behavior in a loyalty sense is usually what I define it as transactional. So you buy a lot, you buy often, you purchase a lot of flights, you spend money. That's the behavior in my definition. And belief is the emotional connection. You trust the brand, you love the brand or the program, whatever, specifically the brand. So it's the love, the trust, and you recommend it. So belief loyalty is trust, love, and recommendation. And behavior loyalty is usually, in my definition, is transactional. It's you buy a lot and you spend the money. So it's that.
Can you say both of those again for me?
Behavior and belief.
And belief is the love one.
Believe is emotional, love, trust, and recommend the brand. So you would not recommend Qantas, you would not recommend a gym or whomever to a friend or a family member unless you really believed in what they offered. You had an innate connection to them. There's the transactional piece as well, which is the behavior. You actually are spending your money with that brand. So it is loyalty by definition, with these outcomes, is behavior and belief. But you can wrap it actually also around, and I've got a visual that I can show your audience in a moment, but you wrap it around with belonging. So you can remember the 3 B's: behavior, belief, and belonging. And belonging is most probably one of the key attributes for a gym.
Yeah.
Do you want to belong to that community? Do you want to belong to that class, or that, you go there and you sweat it out with various other people and you start to feel a sense of belonging? And I would suggest that in the fitness industry, that sense of belonging is very powerful. What you live and breathe the industry. What are your thoughts about the behavior, the belief, and the belonging, but in terms of the dimensions of loyalty?
Well, certainly behaviorally, transactions occur every single month because everybody pays weekly, fortnightly, or monthly. Yeah. Belonging is really important to gyms because of a sense of community and wanting to build that community. And I do really think that a percentage of members, 15, 20, 25, depending on the facility, maybe up north of 25, really do love, trust, and will openly recommend their club to other people. So I think the 3 B's are very relevant to the fitness industry.
I get a sense too as well, because I've got a family of teenagers and they go to the gym a lot, and I just hear them talk, and I talk about meeting their friends. It's also a community place that they're gathering, they work out together. So that I would suggest that belonging is actually in that category. It's got a higher weighting in this definition of loyalty versus perhaps a retailer, unless it's a retailer like a Patagonia, like a brand, or it's got a huge purpose like a Patagonia or whatever it is. I do think
Adam also, it rhymes with B, E, 3 B's and an E. I do think ego is very important in gyms as well. Because I do think that status of, particularly now as we've come out of COVID, lots of people have to book in for classes. So, potentially there's the opportunity, or there's new products or new services that are coming out, that through status, we could reward members with opportunities ahead of other members.
And how do you select which members get what? Is it a part of a extra, overt sort of platinum membership, or do Do you act,
Yeah.
what's your view on that in terms of getting that special treatment?
Yeah, good question. I think there are a couple of ways that gyms have historically done that. Number one is that you pay for it.
Right.
So you pay for that higher benefit membership. I'm probably similar to your belief is that loyalty is earned, not bought.
Uh-huh.
That makes it far more powerful. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the story of Starbucks, and they had a loyalty program there, and you buy X number of things and you become a gold customer or whatever, and they end up selling that off. Like you could actually buy to get that gold status, and Starbucks got slammed on social media because people had bought coffees in order to get this status, and now I could buy it. And I would be the same around Qantas as well if they did that. So perhaps what gyms do to recognize status is how long you've been a member with us. I think they are afraid to talk about how much money you've spent with us.
Yeah, let's just talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds to me a bit like a sleeping dog. Let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the M word, the money word. Let's not bring it up. And it's really interesting because, the way the structure of loyalty, and we'll jump into this a bit later, is there's always a transactional element. So I've got 6 layers to building what I call loyalty currencies. Now, I'll show you an image. Maybe do you want me to jump in? I'll just talk.
Yeah, go for it.
We can segue straight there.
Go for
show
it,
the audience what that looks like, and because you brought up a very valid point. So what I'm going to do is just share with the audience the currencies. How's that visibly?
Yep, that's perfect.
Right. So what we have here when we're building not only loyalty by definition programs, but trying to understand the loyalty elements and what you think or your gym thinks they offer their members versus what members actually care about. So these layers don't necessarily, just because they were structured like a pyramid, doesn't mean that they're weighted that way. So you could reverse the order, it depends on the category. So at the base level, we've got the money. It's the transactional element. There'll always be, in any consumer setting where you're transacting with a brand or business, an element of financial. So don't hide it. If you've got value and you're providing value, don't hide it under a rock. Show me the money. That transactional element is always going to be there. But the next layers is where you actually make a difference in the life of a member or customer. So how do you build memory and experiences so that they talk, they feel that connection? Because I call it in the experiential layer, and it puts it into the memory, because when you experience something, you remember it, you either talk about it or you remember it. So that's that moment you walk into the gym or whatever it is, and they actually recognize you as in some way they surprise and delight you. They do something that actually makes you actually get a bit of a dopamine hit, and you say, oh my gosh, what a great experience that is. Now, whether that is just the ongoing experience or it's a tactical experience offer or, a gift or whatever it is. So that's very much about adding moments of magic in my life. The next currency is about my time. So currency of time, which is functionality. Do you save me time? Give me back time? Time is perhaps our most precious commodity that we all take for granted, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of brands and businesses are waking up to. In fact, you've got to try and find a way to make my life easy for me. And that's in the quotes next to each of that is the voice of the customer. So it just keeps us always honest, is when you're thinking about building relationships and loyalty with your customers or your members, just think about the voice in their head, always. It was really, I just want to digress. I was reading a terrific article about the last letter by Jeff Bezos, who's just resigned from Amazon. He writes a letter to the shareholders every year since 1997. I recommend those letters to anyone interested or passionate about customers. That man is obsessed. They call him obsessive compulsive customer focused individual. And he equates in his last letter It's a beautiful, beautiful analogy about how much time he has saved his Amazon Prime members, of which there are about 200 million, just quietly. That's a small number. I just said 200 million. He equates the time he has saved them based on shopping with Amazon versus shopping in a shopping center. He says it takes on average 30% shop, I think, in 3 minutes or less, but majority, the next layer is around 15 minutes you would spend from the time you're in and out versus an hour shopping. And he uses these numbers in a bigger sense. So he says he saves them 45 minutes every time they shop. And he equates that over 1 week and 52 weeks in a year. And then he calculates, this is just brilliant, he calculates how much time he has saved them by an hourly rate. And he gets that from most probably wages or wherever he gets the hourly rate from. And then he puts in his shareholder letter how much money he has saved his members a year.
Wow, what a cool thing to do.
Do you call that hiding money under a rock?
Absolutely not. That's right out there, isn't
it? It's just a brilliant case in point. I highly recommend people read that. Anyway, the next layer is all about me or you. You talked about ego. You talked about making it personal. And personalization is critical to loyalty and loyalty programs and everything, because the data you have, if you know me, and in fact, gyms would have the most information and data on their members, more than many, many other brands. Am I right?
Look, I would suggest, yeah, we would certainly have a lot of demographic information.
What about my health? I went to the gym when I first joined, and they asked me a lot of information about, they measured me, they tested me, they put all this information about me. I mean, I would suggest that's got a lot of personal information.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So they're sitting on a huge wealth of asset in understanding their members. So the me and personal is very much about personalization, use of data. It's also about ego. In loyalty programs, me is very much about the tiers, the status, stuff that you spoke about, all about me, right? Yeah. Show me you know me. Look at the quotes inside the little thing. Show me you know me. The next one actually is a new one I've added in, thanks to Jeff Bezos, but it's all about giving me choice. In the world, and control, actually. Control and choice is something that we want as human beings. We want to control our destinies, and that's why COVID has smashed us all over the head, because we've lost control. And that's why it's created so much anxiety. So where in your interaction with the brand or the gym do you give me choice and control? And finally, and for gyms, I'd say you would switch this all around. It's about that social and community. Now, it's not only about a gathering of like-minded people around a purpose, but it's also about causes and charities and the circular economy, the environment. A lot of brands and businesses are focusing very much on a greater cause, and the whole world is very focused on cause-related marketing and the wider community.
Do you think wearing your marketing hat for a moment, do you think Australian consumers are touched by that point, the marketing based on cause?
That's a very big question and a broad question. My point of view is, I think it's far more overt and vocal than it's ever been before.
Now that's a good statement. Yes.
And therefore, it's in our eyesight, on our phones, in our feeds, everywhere, on the media. It's no more. It's now headlines. So it's all over the place around the greater good and doing for the world around us rather than for ourselves. Does it really make a difference at a transactional level? I'm not sure. I mean, just as an example, in loyalty program land, those big points programs offer their members the opportunity to redeem points for charities. So to give their points back to vouchers which go to a charity. So they're offering that as an opportunity to their members. Now, I can't give you exact stats. It just depends on the brand and the proposition and how it's executed. But the take up is not always as big as you'd expect. It still happens, but I think consumers generally go for what's in it for themselves first. However, I'm going to be careful because this is recorded and are going live. The opportunity to give your members the choice to redeem their points for a greater good has to be there because it is wanted and desired.
I like that. Yeah, thank you. That's good clarification.
Yeah, so that was a great question around that, around cause. And every brand I work with, I always ask them that social connection, that cause, what are you doing? Because I think it is very much in the eyesight and the heart. It's always also in the heart of customers wanting to do good.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So we went from a great question. You started with what is loyalty, and we digressed a little. Where do you want to carry on from here?
Well, I guess, I love this, the 6 currencies of customer loyalty. So where does a loyalty program fit with this? Like, kind of, we understand, actually, no, before we get to that, everyone's talking about Net Promoter Score at the moment. And that Net Promoter Score is the sign of loyalty because they're referring members, which comes back to your belief, your first one of your 3 Bs.
Now I'll go back to an image that'll help your audience quickly. Here, this is the image of behavior and belief and belonging. So if you read that carefully under belief, you'll see I love, trust, and recommend the brand.
Right.
The recommendation, which is the behavior, which is the actual telling people how great the gym is. But an NPS score is the measure. It's the metric of recommendation. It's how likely are you to recommend this gym to a friend, family, or colleague. Score 0 to 10. Get the Net Promoter Score. So it is a metric of, by definition, loyalty, in my definition, if recommendation is seen as a dimension of loyalty, which I have said it is.
Yes.
So they're all talking about NPS because it's the first, it's been around for many, many, many years now. And it is used in all brands and businesses as a measure of loyalty because, by the way, it has a lot of, we could challenge the actual metric itself. However, as a single score, it helps a business to say, oh, right, we're sitting at plus 22. I mean, you and your audiences all know what NPS is. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're sitting at a plus number. Wow, that's good. That means we've got more promoters than we've got detractors. Fantastic. My insight on that is take it to another level. And I'm not sure if your gyms do this, but do they ask why? Why did they give that score?
Yeah, it's a good question, Adam. I think some do, and then some do not.
Right.
I think their thought process is, well, if I just ask the first question, give me a ranking, I've got more chance of them filling it out than if I ask 2.
No, you see, this is where you've got to be bold and brave, and you've got to ask the why. Not everybody will tell you why, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
And if you get the why on them being promoters, there's testimonials, social proof you can use in your marketing.
Absolutely. But what about the why on the 0 to 6s?
At least you can fix it.
Correct. Brilliant. And I'll give you another little tip around that. And that is, if you've got the systems to do it, the technology to do it. If you're asking me as a member, give me a score from 0 to 10, and I give you a 6 or a 5, and I tell you why. And you know who I am because you've got me in your database. Yeah. So you've got to connect me back to me.
Yeah.
You can then look at my lifetime value or how valuable I am to you, and do this across all your members and turn that score and then whoever gave that thing into where on their value, on the value chain, on your lifetime value chain, how valuable are they? So turn it into a money discussion, because if you and looking at which of your members are giving you what the value of the members are giving you that score.
Well, hopefully they're going to be a
lot in the background.
Yeah, that's good. That means it's outsider, not going to run through and jump up on the desk and.
It's called real time. Hey,
That's it. So tell me then. Yes. So based on that, and I love the way you define that Net Promoter Score is a way to measure. What's the next step for gyms? Like, we've got the definition of loyalty. Yeah. We've got a measurement of loyalty. Yeah. I mean, should we be putting in loyalty programs in our clubs?
Yeah, look, that is, again, the next big question. And maybe what we should just first do is give some sort of a definition of what a loyalty program is.
Oh, okay.
And I'll just drive to a slide to help out on that. Okay, here we go. So my definition of a loyalty program is a defined structure of ongoing benefits, rewards, and recognition to enhance your customer's life, whether it's financially, emotionally, and it's got to be driven with simplicity. In return for desired behaviors and beliefs for longer-term profitable business growth. Either you want more insights, drive more revenue or income, or advocacy as in recommendation.
Yeah.
So when you put that all together, the next question that you would most probably ask me, and I'll jump ahead, is, well, hang on, is that a points program? Is that a cashback program? Or is that a surprise and delight? I've heard all these programs, Adam. Well, it actually is any and all of that. And in the small handwriting, I'll just write this, read it out for your audience, which is, a loyalty program is not only a points program. There are many variations and combinations of loyalty program structures. It could be a flat structure, it could be a tiered program. It could be visible or invisible. I'll come back to that. It could be paid, what they call subscription, or it could be free. It could be a collecting mechanism where you get points for all these things that you do or buy. Or it could be a package of benefits, soft and hard benefits, which I'll explain also if you want. You could own the program, or you could be a partner of Qantas. So a partnered program is a brand that says, we will give Qantas points to our members or customers. You're a partner of someone else's program. Plus a variation of naming. So this is where it gets tricky, because it could be called a customer rewards program, a recognition program, an incentive program, a club, a VIP program, a discount program, a package of, it's, the naming can go on in all different directions. So I wanted to make it sure, because everyone uses the word loyalty program, because that's what everyone knows. It's the Qantas, it's the Velocity, it's the Coles, it's the Woolies, it's the Priceline Sister Club, it's the, everyone calls them loyalty program, but they're different dimensions and definitions. Now,
I really like what you've done there, because I think lots of people watching today, when we're thinking loyalty program, they will automatically trigger in their mind, okay, this is going to be a pain in the ass for me to develop a points-based system in my business. And what you've just said there is, it's a loyalty program is not that. It's more than that.
Yeah, well, is a gym the only place to go and pump iron?
Well, no. Not these days.
No, exactly. It's not. It's got so many different dimensions and elements to it. Absolutely. And a loyalty program is not a points is not just a points program.
Yeah, such a great concept.
And this is where you've got to jump to work out, well, why would we even want, when we know what it is now, don't worry yet about what you actually form it as, or what I call the structure. So it's always, in building programs, it's always strategy before structure. Strategy is all about, why do you want a program? What are your objectives? In business, specific measurable objectives. Why do you want a program? If I asked you, JT, why would a gym want a program?
I think their number one reason would be to drive retention.
Retention. Okay.
And followed then by differentiation from their competitor.
Great. Okay. So on this next slide, I'm going to put yourself, you know the industry better than I do. I know loyalty, you know the industry. Okay. So do you really need a loyalty program? A quick diagnostic for you, right? On the left-hand side, you'll see from 1 to 9, a range of goals. Revenue, retention, recognition, advocacy, acquisition, data, dialogue, differentiation, pricing, and other. Yep.
Yep.
Next to them in the little red numbers from 1 to 11 are a range of what I would call reasons, or I'll give you another way through this in a moment. So in under revenue, do you want to motivate your existing customers or members, just so you can replace that, to spend more? Do you want to motivate?
I reckon every gym would be ticking 5 on each one of those.
Well, it doesn't matter what the answer is, because there is no right answer. The answer is what the answer is.
Yeah.
So if everyone ticks 5, that's fine. I'll make it harder for you in a second. Okay. But let's just go through them briefly, yeah?
Yep.
So do you want to motivate your existing customers to spend more? 1 to 5. 1, it's not important. 5, very important. Do you want to motivate your existing customers to purchase more often? Now, obviously, this is general because we've got to contextualize. This is not all, and that's why in the context of gyms and the behaviors that they have with their members, it might be slightly different than if I was talking to a retailer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to retain your best customers? Do you want to reduce customer churn? Do you want to recognize and reward your valuable customers? Do you want to motivate your existing customers to recommend you? Do you want to attract new customers? Do you want to develop a deeper understanding of your customers' data? Do you want to develop a communication platform to personalize your dialogue, your comms? Do you want to add a competitive point of difference? Do you want to reduce the need for discounting or any other reason? So here is a menu of possible reasons for a program.
Mm-hmm.
When you answer the score and you get a score, and usually when I do this diagnostic, excuse me, I just need to get a drink. I do it with the whole leadership team of a brand or a business. So individually, and I get a whole range of different answers, which is very powerful because a program needs to be developed based on alignment in the business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So when we get all the answers together, we aggregate the score and we work out what the highest ranking reason is. But the most powerful question out of all of that is the one at the bottom, which says, JT, please only select one. If there was only one reason.
I didn't read that.
So now give me one reason, the most important reason that you think in this hypothetical conversation that your gym would want a program.
I'm going to go, if they are a mature gym, number 2.
Motivate your existing members to purchase more often.
Oh, sorry, no, number retention, 3 or 4.
Okay, so 3 or 4, to retain your best members.
Yeah.
Love it. So you're now single-minded and focused. Can we come back? Let me just get you back for a second and I can look at you. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So you're so focused now that the potential reason for your program is to retain your best members. You've now defined your goal. Now the next question is, who are your best members? So who are they literally in your data set? What is showing up as best? Is best how long they've been with you, how often they come in, how much of the community they're involved with? Define best.
Well, I would say all of those. Some people might also say the best customer is the person that refers the most members to them as well.
So there's an NPS score or recommendation. So they're an influencer, and how do you need to measure? Yes, you usually get in gyms, I notice, because I'm always getting asked, can you refer someone? If I refer 10 friends, will they put that against my name?
Yeah.
So then I'll be high on best under that definition.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Beautiful. That's a great, if they've got, in fact, that's one of the greatest, that's a quick insight for me, because not many other businesses can actually measure the power of referrals.
We used to have, we had a member in the second gym that I ever worked at back in the early 1990s. And when you referred somebody, Adam, you got a free month of membership.
Right.
We ran that as a promotion. And in 1 month, one lady referred 12 members.
Wow.
And back then, our membership was $65 a month. So she's just saved 12 months of membership.
Unbelievable. Amazing. So
and she was a great member too. She was a lovely lady.
And there you go. So best members, trying to work out your best members. Now, I want to bring you back into a strategy. I call it the wheel of loyalty fortune in building the loyalty program. So to help your audience along this little strategy, the conversation we've just had is the number one at the top, which is defining the goals. Always start off with the business. Why do you want a program? So how do you build a profitable and sustainable program? So that circle, it says very simply, it's all about starting internally with your business. Why? That's why I did that diagnostic, to define the goal.
Yeah.
The goal is very clear. You're absolutely clear. We want to retain our best members. So you can see number two, I went to and I said to you, well, who are they? And you can see 3 words there: behavior, belief, and belonging. How do you define those best members? By behavior, belief, and belonging. So you look through your data set, your database, you find members who have been with you, behavior, tenure, have been at your gym for 12 years. They're on direct debit, so the money's always coming in. Maybe they pay the extras for the extra gym. I don't know how gyms always charge. I mean, I know my gym, but do they charge an extra $10 because you want to go to the special class on top of your membership? So are they adding more money on to look at all of the, the financial side of that member? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gave me a great insight around, the belief, the recommendation piece, the referral piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are they a referrer? Are they, what do they call those people? Influencer.
Yes, influencer, great word.
Yeah, whatever you want to call them, or Oh, and their sense of belonging. There's certain members that will just love the community. And how you measure that, I'm not sure, but still, you might have an anecdotal way of measuring that.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Anecdotal will be the way you judge that. Oh,
okay,
no, actually, you could. They'd come to every social event in a club.
Yeah, and if it's back to our objectives, retain our best members. Depends on the size of the gym. If it's a massive corporate, franchise network versus a small one, and you've got good data, and you help me out here. Either you've got 10 bests, or you've got 1,000 best customers. I don't know what the scale of best is. It could be, it depends on how you define it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The definition's the key one.
Yeah. That's why understanding that, back to your goal, we want to retain our best. Who is best?
Yeah.
When you understand who best is, you move to number 3 on the wheel, which is, okay, how will we retain them through a program? What's going to be in it to retain them? How are we going to make them feel special? Back to my 5 currencies, or 6 currencies, sorry. And you asked me that, how do we use those 6 currencies in building a program? So now you bring the 6 currencies into, is it a transactional offering? Do we give you something extra special from a money point of view? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Do we add extra experiences for you being a member? Remember the second layer. Is there any time, I know these days everything's 24 hours and 7 days, but is there anything in their experience of the gym that you can make life easy for them? Don't know. Lockers. Look, I'm not going to come up with ideas. The category, but I'm going through the thing.
Yeah.
Then it's the next layer of, so you go through the next currency, which is, how do you make it more personal? That's all about me, and you need to think about that. Then the choice and control, and you don't have to have all of these. By the way, the 6, and finally the community. I was just want to finish that off. So you've got the 6, yeah. But what in all of those can you build currencies of benefits? It's a blend of benefits for those best customers.
I love it.
So
and then I like number 4, which is getting the team involved. That's going to be successful.
It shouldn't be number 4. By the way, it's only 1 to 7 just to help with the structure and the strategy. But team is just like absolutely critical.
Yeah.
And I engage teams right at the beginning. So that's why I do the leadership interviews. And then when we do research, because we do part of this process is researching your customers if you want to get feedback. So if you came up with a whole range of ways to give recognition and reward and benefits to your best customers, you'd ask them, of these 17 benefits that we want to give you, what's your most preferred? So you'd research it.
Love it.
And why I'm sharing that with you is we also ask the team their point of view.
Getting them involved, it's going to make it work. I love it. I love it. I love it.
And maybe where we get to on number 5 is your baby, which is, because I always hear about you talking about technology. So how do you actually execute through the technology and the systems in the business, in the gym?
Yeah, and I guess that's a really interesting question to ask. And the question that I want to kind of quiz you on is, do you need special technology? Like if somebody's watching this today and they go, Adam, you've inspired me. I freaking want to do this tomorrow. Do they need special tech, or can they do it without the technology?
Yeah, well, it's a really good question. Let's discuss it, because I don't know what the systems are like in a gym. You know better than I. Fundamentally, any program you build needs data. So do you have access in real time to all the information about, back to our strategy, your best members? Do you know, do you actually have all of the elements in real time, or is it spreadsheets download? Is, you know, do you on your POS system or whatever system, or when they scan in and they come into the gym, or if it's, you know, this is the why small gym, big gym, you know, medium gym, massive gym as network, how sophisticated are they in the data on their members? That's the question.
Yeah, the data is definitely there. It's whether the owners know how to extrapolate the data out of the software is probably the bigger question.
And also the real time. So I walk in and I identify, because you always identify yourself.
Yeah, we've got the best COVID tracking system in the country. We know when you walked in, we know when you walked out, we know where you went.
You've got absolutely so much foundation strength, as I said right in the beginning of this conversation, about how much data you've got on me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've identified, because retailers struggle to get identification. That's one of their biggest struggles. So gyms are in a powerful position. Yeah. So you've identified me real time. I've walked in, you've identified me. It pops up. It must pop up on some visual display somewhere. And it says Adam's walked in. Hopefully on that visual display, it says Adam's walked in and he's a platinum member.
Yes, it would. Most software packages would say that.
Or your software allows you to define Adam back to best customer, because you've done the work to define JT or Adam as a best by definition, and you're calling your best platinums. For arguments, I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
So there's a little flash, a pop-up, a nag, a nudge, whatever they call it, and it says Adam's popped in, he's a platinum.
Yeah, I like it.
So for the person who sees that, who maybe is not a regular at the gym and might be a part-time, whatever, knows immediately, or has been trained, the team member's been trained to, hey, Adam, how you going? And by the way, we know this all about you. You know, how's your health? How's your heart rate? How's your blood pressure? I shouldn't have said that, should I? Etc.
Yeah.
Know me. Show me you know me.
Yeah, I like it.
So technology piece is important. And I don't know the sophistication without going and talking to them and understanding what they collect and how in real time they recognize their members.
Yeah. Look, I think we are light years ahead of most retail outlets. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I go to Priceline and I go, do I want to join the sister club? And I'm like, no, I'm already a member.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Whereas we would already know that data on our members.
That's why you have so many strengths, you meaning gyms and membership,
industry,
to build a powerful program. Remember, we called it a loyalty program, but in this case, we've got a new name for this one because it's retaining best. Maybe this is the recognition and reward program with surprise and delight.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the platinum club for this club, which is all about retaining their best. But we haven't really got into the detail about what do they get.
Yeah.
Anyway, the data piece, number 6, which segues off the technology, and the dialogue, number 7. Those are all integrated around how do you communicate with them? How do you send them messaging, emails? How do you actually, do they have an account, specific account they can log into and see how they're going? How do they track what, all of that, that technology, data, and dialogue is all integrated to enable a program.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Dialogue is the comms. So there is the wheel of loyalty fortune, which you started asking me right in the beginning. What is loyalty? Why a program? Who's it for? What is it structured like? What's in it? And I think that's where a lot of people go straight to. So if we just stay there for a moment, that's fine. But one of the things that's not said there clearly and for a purpose is the financial model that underpins whatever you do in this program. What I mean by that is, if you're going to invest in rewards, benefits, or anything that costs you money to recognize and reward your best customers, you need to manage the return on investment from that.
Yeah. That's a really, I think lots of our industry would say, it's in the too hard basket. I just want to focus on selling memberships. Now, for me, this is a great feature of your membership. So maybe your loyalty program or your surprise and delight program, or whatever you want to call it, could in fact be as powerful in your business as your group fitness program or your cardio area or your outdoor boot camps. It just becomes another feature in the business. Just as I wouldn't leave Qantas because of my points and what it gives me. So I guess it's changing the thinking of business owners, isn't it? To say this could be as important as any other physical benefit of your club.
Yeah. Absolutely, it could. And the big word is could. When you're because commitment to it is as committed you are to the services that you're offering and the gym and the boot camp, as committed as you are to building the fundamental offering, which is why you go to gym, the health, the fitness, the actual fundamental offering, and you're always building on that. So every brand does this. This augments it. So yeah. This is like that, if you talk about thinking differently, this is on top of it. So not only is your core offering, you've got to be brilliant at the basics. No loyalty program will put a Band-Aid over you not being brilliant at the basics.
I love the word augmented. Like it's just adding to what you've already got, making it a little bit better.
Yep.
It's a great word to describe what our business. Okay. What else have you got? Well, I've only got another 10 minutes and my pen's already poised and I'm ripping into this concept. I love it.
What else have I got? Okay. Well, maybe ask me a question. Let me think.
All right. Well, are there any disadvantages to a business putting something in like this?
Yes, there are. There are disadvantages. And it's kind of the opposite of the advantages in the sense of the disadvantages are it could distract you. So you've got to have clarity on where it fits in the business strategy, rather than it's not a marketing campaign. It's not just a bolt-on that you start and you stop. Yeah. So if you aren't committed, there's a big disadvantage. It'll fail. So do you have the people or the person to manage it and own it and look after it? Because remember, it's retaining back to your idea, is retaining your best members.
Yeah.
So if you, and here's a disadvantage that a lot of the industry is talking about these days, is that when you offer a program, you increase the expectation of the members of that program.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready and committed to support that, you'll disappoint them.
And that has happened to me a couple of times as a platinum member. It's like, okay, I thought I got this, and this, but I haven't. So now I'm a bit disappointed. Not enough to make me leave, but just.
No, it's a little, death by 1,000 cuts. It's just the first cut.
Yeah. I like the idea of someone having to champion this in the business.
You said my word. Loyalty champions.
Okay.
I love what you just said. I call them loyalty champions. We need loyalty champions for a program to succeed. You need loyalty champions.
What are 4 skills that a loyalty champion, if we're going to put one on in our business, what are 4 skills they must have?
Now that's okay. 4. Okay, great question. What are they? Okay. Call them skills. Yeah, actually, I'll mix it up a bit. First of all, they must be very, very clear, and this is not necessarily skill, but it must be very clear from the owner or whomever it is as to why this program exists.
Yep.
So you've got to be able to set the expectation of the loyalty champion.
Yep.
They must be very clear on how it works. So the skill there is they must know the ins and outs of everything. So they must have clearly explained.
So they're going to have good product knowledge of
it and how it all works. Yeah.
Yep.
The next layer is what I call they must be excited and passionate about it.
Like that one. Yeah.
And then, which is really, there's kind of like the 3 E's, which is what I call about explain, expect, and excite. A loyalty champion needs to know the program, know what's expected of them, and be excited by it. You and your 3 B's and your 3 E's. Well, does it help you remember anything?
Absolutely. I love it.
So back to skills though, in sort of bigger corporate loyalty programs, they must love data because the data drives it.
Yep.
They must want to go in and dig into their membership and say, what behaviors are happening from these members. They must love data. They really must. In the bigger stories, not necessarily in the gym land, but I'd still say that is when we're recruiting for loyalty champions for clients, we are looking for people who actually want to dig deep into the insights and the data. Also great, talk about skills, negotiation skills from the point of view is a lot of programs bring in partnerships. And in gyms, that would be massive because you can build retain your best program customers by bringing partner offers in.
So like other local businesses?
Other local businesses, other brands, maybe it's, health foods, maybe it's,
supplements.
maybe supplements. Yeah. Yep. So you want to negotiate with partners, benefits to give your best members.
Yeah.
Because that's one way, talking about keeping costs low, that's one way of adding value to your member without spending too much money.
I love it.
Because what's in it for the partner?
Yeah. Well, I think, the beauty for the partner is that they're going to get exposure to 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 members.
Yeah. And there are a lot of programs these days, and it's actually another key hot topic is how to add partnerships into programs. And in my latest, you mentioned in the intro, it's very timely. I've just released the 2021 for Love or Money research study on consumers' attitudes to loyalty and loyalty programs. It's just come out last week. And now I've done 14 of these studies. I'm getting a sense of the tracking and the changes in attitudes to loyalty programs generally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as well as how they interact, the data, the privacy, and a whole range of the what I call the moments of experiencing a program, all the various moments involved. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is one of the areas of the research we looked at was we asked members of programs, what do they, how much do they prefer a program that offers rewards and benefits from within the ecosystem of the business, so only within the gym, versus a program that also augments, there's your word, or adds in partnership offers. Overwhelmingly, and do you understand what I mean by that? They're bringing in partners. Overwhelmingly, members say, if brands who've got a program bring in offers from partners, that really does make me feel extra special, because they're going to the effort. They're not lazy about this program. They're going to the effort of bringing in partner offers for me.
I love it. So what's our first step? Where do we go from here, Adam?
Look,
what do we do?
The wheel is the first step. Number one, why? Why do you want to program?
How long would it take someone to set this up? If they committed to this and they said, yep, we're into this, what sort of time frame?
I would say it also depends on the size of the organization. So, you know, a sophisticated build program with a bigger business, you know, bigger gym network, maybe it's franchise, maybe it's company owned, where you've got a whole range of internal engagement first. It can take from a strategy point of view, because I'm strategy only. I don't do technology and I don't do project management. I do the strategy. So
the strategy is the foundation.
Foundation. That's what I do. I build foundation. Now, it all depends. It'll come back to answer your question. I've done the strategic parts of programs in as quick as 6 weeks, but sometimes it takes 3 months because of the extent of the brand and how many people we want to get aligned and understanding the data and building, because there's a process.
Yeah.
There's workshops. So it can take very quick. If it was just me and a smaller business, I'd have to think about how that would work because of how I consult. But in the bigger businesses, it can take a bit of time.
Okay. Interesting.
As you can see, there's a little bit of thinking to be done along the way. So to answer your question specifically, as I said, if we wanted to get to the stage of we now understand what our program looks like, now we need to execute it, it can be quite quick if it's a smaller business. But, you know, as I say, it can be 3 or 4 months if we're doing research, going to customers, coming back, doing financial modeling, you know, getting the team or understanding the technology. If it's a bigger business, it's not a quick overnight story.
You've mentioned it a few times, and kind of this is my last question. Not because I don't have more, but only because we don't have a lot more time. But you mentioned a few times, surprise and delight. Now, we talk about surprise and delight from a experiential perspective, a perspective of experience.
Yep.
We talk about it from a service standard.
Yep.
How does surprise and delight work in the sense of a loyalty program?
So it's one of the elements of building emotional loyalty. What you do is you plan to and you budget for giving surprise and delight other moments or gifts or benefits, so either physical or intangibles. And intangibles could be, you know, a soft benefit like, you know, a special invite to an event that you didn't know was coming.
Got it.
So you're surprising. Just think about surprise and delight. What is it? It's you're surprising somebody because they weren't expecting it. And it's delightful.
Yeah.
Now I have one word for it. I call it joyalty.
Did you say joyalty?
I said J-O-Y, joyalty. Now,
love it. I love
the word joyalty, by the way, with reference, the word comes from a book I read, which is a great book, by the way, and I'm happy to recommend it. It's called Brand Currency. Here it is right in front of me. I read it all day, every day.
Nice.
It's written by one of the guys who worked at Amazon called Steve Susi. Anyway, in there, he talks about this concept of joyalty, but I've taken it and borrowed it and with reference, like I've just done, and defined it differently in loyalty programs. He talks about it differently at Amazon. But my definition of joyalty is your customer's feeling of maximum joy and delight from one or a series of moments of magic delivered by your brand. By one or a series of moments of magic. This is my definition of joyalty. I love the word. I'm borrowing it from the book, but it's my definition. Your customer's feeling of maximum joy and delight from one or a series of moments of magic delivered by your brand. So at a tactical level, in a gym, when you surprise and delight, or, you know, as I say, create some joyalty for your member, it's at that moment they say, oh my gosh, wow. You're looking for that, oh my gosh, wow moment. That's so nice of you. You're inviting me to this. Oh, you're giving me some supplements. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Thanks.
Love it. That's really gold. Adam, if anyone is watching and goes, I need help, around loyalty, of course, how do they get in contact with you?
Thanks, JT. So my website is thepointofloyalty.com.au, The Point of Loyalty. My research is there. I write articles all the time. I'm also on LinkedIn under Adam Posner. And just, give me a call. My numbers are, everywhere. My email is adam@thepointofloyalty.com.au.
Sir, thank you so much for your time today. I think that you're going to get some phone calls from people who are attending our summit, people who get to see this on the black market. Seriously, this is brand new thinking for our industry, and it's pretty darn exciting from what I'm hearing today. So really grateful for your time. Thank you, Adam. Remember, everybody who's watching today, you get this as a value add to the Tech Summit. We're surprising and delighting you with this value add to the Tech Summit. You can register for the entire Tech Summit at fitnessindustrytechsummit.com.au. And a reminder that this is the only event this year that focuses on improving your business efficiencies, logistics, communication, community, and loyalty through technology. So no matter the size of your fitness business, you're going to benefit from this event. So I look forward to seeing you on July the 21st and the 22nd in Sydney. Go to fitnessindustrytechsummit.com.au.